Hello YouTube, this is Bonnie from Dragon Soap. We're going to cut Arabian Spice. So, it did apparently gel because there's a little crack along here. So, but the top didn't fall down. So that's good. I should have used a little strainer when I was putting the cinnamon on the top because just using the shaker spice bottle, as you can see, came out too clumpy. And you can also see how dark that turned. Not unexpected. A nice loaf of soap, which we can once again call a loaf of soap. I don't know whether you heard someone tried to trademark loaf of soap or soap loaf. Everybody raised a stink because everybody uses the phrase, you know, soap loaf or loaf of soap. And the soap maker who tried to trademark it withdrew her request, so that was good. Okay, let us entertain you. Oh, sorry. I promised not to sing, didn't I, at some point? Okay, so that's my planer, but we won't plane until after we cut. Let's do a small, I like to pick this up with paper towels so I don't leave fingerprints all over it. I made this last night. Boy, look at that. Ugh. I made a ½ pound more than I normally do, and it makes a little bit bigger loaf. And it also left me enough that I could make a couple of my little silicone molds. Let's unmold these first. I love silicone. This is Arabian Spice, but it was lightened up with some titanium dioxide, and that's a Christmas cottage. And this is Arabian Spice, but I did not lighten it up with titanium dioxide. I did put a little bit of cinnamon in for speckles. Look, because look how much lighter it is than the bar. Or loaf. This will darken too. Okay, get those out of the way. The end piece. I'm anxious to see how well the color drop went. Ooh, I like that. second. Is that... That's 1.5 inches. I used to cut them 1.5 inches, but it was just a little bit too... It was a little too thick. It was hard to, you know, do it. Work up the lather. It's supposed to be 1.25 inches. I guess if you go from that edge it is. And so this is actually just a slightly less than 1.25 inches. Oh, yeah, I like that. I hope that's in the frame. And I thought this would, the fragrance oil would accelerate trace more than it did. I might have done another color too if I thought I was going to have time, and turned out I did have time, but I didn't think I was going to. Come on. Oh, God. Oh, yeah, look at that. You can see all the short ones I did, but there were some deeper ones too. Yeah, I'm pleased with that. I'm happy, happy, happy. Happy, happy, happy. So why didn't it thicken up or accelerate trace dramatically? I modified my recipe. I did not use sodium lactate. So these bars might not get as hard as most of the other ones. I didn't use sodium lactate. I did still use cocoa butter. But I reduced the amount of castor and sweet almond oil and increased the amount of olive oil, because olive oil, as everyone knows, sorry about that, the battery died. Okay, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 bars of soap. And the ends, this end is big for some reason. Okay, so, and then the little, in case you didn't see these, this one is uncolored, just has some cinnamon in it for speckles. The first one is colored with titanium dioxide, little Christmas cottages. Okay, so let's get the planer out. Get rid of the cutter. And plane these. Actually, yeah, they do need planing. These kinds of cutters don't cut quite as well as a knife or a string, like in a, what's it called? It's not a harp. Oh, you know those cutters with all the strings. Yeah, that looks so much better. Except it's like, it looks a lot better. It looks a lot crisper. I don't know if you can see the difference, the bottom one as opposed to the top one. The top one, they just have a little bit of soap gunk because the dough things don't cut. But I get all these little streaks in it, and it's like there's something in here that's causing that, and I don't know what it is. And it makes me crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. I'm crazy Bonnie. I wonder if I should just get, I don't think it's, could it be little bits of wood along this edge? I don't know. Okay. And you want to know how anal I am? When I put those back, I always like to make sure I put the bars of soap in the same order that they were in the loaf and in the same direction, so you could smush them together and make the loaf again. Why? I don't know. I'm just weird that way. And there's this one. Ooh, look at this side of it. That's better. So, you probably can't tell how much cleaner it looks, but it really does. It really does look cleaner. Make these for embeds and some other soap. This one? Yes. Okay. And I go bottom first on this so that if there's glitter or something else on the top, it doesn't drag all the way down the bar of soap. If I've used regular ground up oatmeal instead of colloidal oatmeal, then I usually get drag marks through the soap anyway from the little chunks of oatmeal. Colloidal oatmeal, of course, is so finely ground that you don't get that. So what does it mean, colloidal? Colloidal means something is ground up so fine that when you put it in water or possibly another liquid, it forms a colloid. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Which just means that it forms, it's almost like a new liquid. It doesn't, the colloidal oatmeal when you put it in bath water doesn't sink to the bottom like ground up oatmeal would. It's just so fine that it stays suspended and makes a new liquid, and that liquid against your skin is supposed to be very nice and help ease dry, itchy skin and stuff like that. That's when you use it in bath water. In soap, I don't know how much of a difference it makes because it doesn't form a colloid, however it's pronounced. But oatmeal is still nice on the skin. It adds a little bit of fiber. So for a little bit of, not scrubbiness, it's way too fine to be scrubbiness. Some people say it's not exfoliating, and I'm not sure. See, I think it is. I don't think you have to feel scrubby for it to be exfoliating. There's the little bitty oatmeal fibers are still there. So they will add just a little bit of friction between the soap and your skin, and that will help scrub off dead skin cells and stuff. Yeah, that's the new side. So it's not the only topic we soapers have a difference of opinion about. We disagree on a lot of things, but you know, we're mostly genial about it. There are a lot of good soapers out there. I've heard there were some bad ones. I've heard stories about people getting burned from lye-heavy soap and stuff like that, but it's rare. There's so many people making soap and selling it, and they have loyal customers for years. You can't do that if you're not making good soap. And I include hot process, cold process, and melt and pour in that category. You can make good soap of any kind. So there's this one. This one. So I've got the embeds I was thinking about using in this soap, and I didn't use them. But I need to make a chocolate soap, and I will use them in the chocolate soap. Yeah, if you've never tried chocolate soap, it's awesome. Yes, it has real chocolate. I use, what do I use? It's unrefined cocoa butter, so you get that wonderful cocoa butter smell. Chocolate is just cocoa butter and cocoa powder. I mean, they take chocolate liqueur and remove the cocoa butter, and it leaves cocoa powder. It's my understanding anyway. I think that's the side we looked at on the other side, and then there's the new side. So I use unrefined cocoa butter for that wonderful cocoa butter fragrance, and then I use a wonderful, to die for, vanilla hazelnut fragrance oil, and it makes together the vanilla and the hazelnut and the chocolate from the cocoa butter make a wonderful chocolatey fragrance. You know, I have problems with my sinuses, so sometimes it's hard for me to smell what they smell like. So I took a couple of bars to work last time I made it and asked people, what does this smell like? Most of them said it smelled like chocolate cake. Some of them said, I'm not really sure, but I want to eat it. Like, cool. And then, of course, I add the whipping cream and the colloidal oatmeal and, you know, the stuff I normally add. That's the reverse of the last one. This is the new side. And I'm showing you these again just in case I'm not sure when the camera cut out. So there may be bars of soap I show you twice. That's the reverse of the last one. This is the new one. I keep thinking with these curls I'll make something like, you know, SV soaps, they sell soap on Etsy. I don't know who it is that makes the soap, but they have some really gorgeous bright colors and all these embeds on top, including curls like this, which I assume they make exactly the way I'm making these. Although, you know what happens when you assume. Beautiful soaps though. And I'm going to make something similar, probably not as bright and cheery, just because there's that. This is the end piece. Quite a bit bigger than my end piece normally is. So these curls can be used to make something like that. Okay, now some people like to leave their soap untrimmed, you know, which is cool. I like to trim mine. That's cool too. I just washed this potato peeler last night because I was using it on the embeds I made and then didn't use. So it still has some water. And of course in here the water really likes to collect. So trimming the soap, I just go down, across, and up. And then I like to, and I try to do all that without leaving fingerprints. I didn't plane this little end piece. It's thin enough as it is. Oh, you know what? I was watching, I think it was Jen on A&N Suds and Such, was planing her soap. And my soap planer has these little grooves that are supposed to be used for beveling, but when I tried it, it made too big of a bevel. I didn't like it. But what Jen did was she just went on the edge like that, and it made a really nice, even bevel. Oh, yes. I don't know if you can see that. Very nice. So let's try that instead of the potato peeler. I like that. So you don't need a beveler, you can just use your planer and just run it along. I'm not doing it in the things made for beveling, I'm just doing it right on the surface. You can still get off. Okay, and then I like to get rid of these on the end. This is where the soap was on the, against the side of the mold. I just like to trim that off. A little air pocket there. Okay, that's that one. I find I get little marks on the surface from the paper towel I'm holding. You know what, it's just easier to do it this way. on that last one, I forgot. I like to go around the sides and the bottom. And then it depends on the top. Just like to run this over the top too. So the bottom is one that's been beveled or has been plain but not beveled or trimmed, and this one is one that's been trimmed. So I think it just looks a little bit neater. And I forgot to trim the top on this. I did that one, but not that one. So, you probably don't want to watch me trim all of these. And I don't blame you. It can get boring. So, this is Arabian Spice. Nice two-tone color drop soap. Best color drop I've done so far. Last time I tried a color drop, it was too thick, and I just got plops of color on the top, which turned out kind of cool looking, but it wasn't, you know, it didn't come, it was all up here. So, I guess that's it. We will sign off for today. Thank you for watching. And we'll say, I don't want to sound like Selena Titch, but bye. Not that I have anything against Selena Titch, I just don't want to look like I'm trying to copy them. But, you know, bye.